It's a great point, and in fact, it's one of the things we talk about ways that you can measure innovation. That's one of the bars we're going to put up for people is how can you contribute back. So we've got a lot of folks that do that independently. There's obviously like any company, we try and protect our assets and protect our IP asset, our IT and engineering and intellectual property assets as well. So sometimes that's a challenge to try and get that through. We have contributed pretty substantial projects in the past, and I think in the current environment, that's gonna definitely accelerate. So I like that challenge, and hopefully we can step up to that. We try and leverage as much as we possibly can. So we have everything from Ubuntu servers in some areas to sort of server level stuff. We have areas where we're leveraging things like Jackrabbit and Magnolia at the CMS level. We obviously we do a fair amount in the Java space in general. So a lot of things that get exposed there. We also leverage a lot of tools, a lot of productivity tools, so Greenhopper, Git, things like that. So we really try and pull a lot of that stuff in. And we've got guys that are writing books on all kinds of nifty stuff as well. So I mean, I think we've got a guy that just wrote a book on Dojo, and we'd be happy to talk you through all of the happiness of Dojo as well. So I'm not sure if that really answers your question. I think it's a great challenge. And it's something you're right, we should absolutely just step up to.
It's good. So we're in a Microsoft office. Who here considers themselves big into open source or using open source? A couple hands. So one of the things that's a challenge for a corporate environment to move into is there's definitely, if you're going to spend the time to contribute or go back, you've got to have a little bit of a culture change. So for me, I was on a panel a couple years ago at LinuxCon. And a bunch of us, from big companies, and talking about all the great, thinking we're giving everyone what they want, talking about how we're using the stuff. And a guy got up, late 30s, early 40s, and in his best Kermit the Frog voice, said, when I was little, my parents told me to share, 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 and all I hear up there is take, take, take. I'm doing a bad impression of him, but it was a group that was probably,
It's being streamed, by the way, so be careful.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. It's one of the funniest things I've ever said. I mean, the guy was brilliant in the way he did it. And it was the truth, because there is an expectation if you're going to be part of the community that you are. So, we actually, a lot of it has to do with things we've been using that have been acquired by Oracle and not wanting to use Oracle stuff anymore, not paying them license fees, but we've moved, whether it be from, we were a big BA shop and now it's all JBoss, or we moved from Oracle Content Management to Alfresco. The next area is some security tools for us. But a big part of it from the beginning was originally to do a lot of contribution back. We had a pretty good enterprise engineering group. That dynamic has changed a little bit because now a lot of our engineering, we're working with some global partners. So a lot of the contributions are now in cooperation with them. And that just takes a lot more coordination. But a lot of these companies have quite a bit of people, whether it be in India or other parts of the world, who are pretty active in that. They have to be if they're going to support us and actually have the knowledge transfer. So, it's definitely a party. It's one of the things we track. So the enterprise engineering group, one of the metrics I had them do was they're tracking back to the various projects that they're using. But when you're not quite all internal development, when you actually work with a lot of other partners, it can be a little more complex question. If we're hired to your company, do we work into the contract? Is it a good faith type thing? Because it's something we want to be known as active in those communities. But how do we really make it reality and all the other things going on? So that's really been our challenge. But from an engineering perspective, we do build a lot of custom applications, and it's a big focus for us because as great as some of the engineering companies are, and even as great as Microsoft, we use a lot of Microsoft technology. On the other side of the house, you're never going to compete with all the young people out there contributing to projects. I don't care if Oracle has 5,000, 10,000 engineers. They're not going to be able to keep up. And we've really seen that wave, and also our developers are more interested in working on those technologies.
We had this realization kind of recently. It was funny because we don't consume that much open source right now, but we're looking at mobile frameworks, and we're looking at things like jQuery mobile as a way to go. We were sitting there, we were like tracking through the alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, and something would break, and we'd go, I guess we're just going to have to wait for that to get fixed. It never occurred to us, oh wait, we could check in the fix ourselves. So it's a cultural, I agree, it's a cultural change for us as well to realize, oh, we're part of this, that's right. And and so we'll get used to it, we'll get smarter about it over time. That's definitely a goal.